Have you ever looked at a crowded room, packed wall to wall with sweating bodies, flashing lights, and noise so loud you can feel it in your teeth, and thought, honestly, I think I'd rather wrestle a grizzly bear right now? If you have, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not crazy. There is this massive misconception out there that if you don't love the chaos of a packed concert or the sardine can experience of a trendy downtown bar, you're somehow defective. But what if I told you that that instant urge to turn around and run back to your car isn't social anxiety or shyness? What if it's actually a sign that your brain is operating on a level of high-definition precision that most people can't even comprehend? We're talking about a biological superpower that feels like a curse only because we live in a world designed for the loud and the oblivious. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Michael, and today we are diving deep into the fascinating, sometimes exhausting, but ultimately brilliant machinery of your mind. We are going to unpack why you feel the way you do, prove that you're actually a genius in disguise, and give you the validation you didn't know you needed. So, smash that subscribe button like it's the leave meeting button on a Zoom call that's gone on for 20 minutes too long, and let's get into the psychology of why you hate crowds. Let's set the scene. It's Saturday night. You're comfortable. You're in your safe zone. Suddenly, your phone buzzes with a text from a friend. Hey there, we're all meeting at that new downtown spot. It is super packed, line around the block, but the vibe is amazing. Immediately, your soul tries to leave your body. You physically recoil. It's not because you hate fun. It's not because you're a Grinch. It's because your brain just ran a cost-benefit analysis at lightning speed and decided that the vibe is absolutely not worth the bankruptcy of your energy reserves. And I want you to know right now, you are not broken. You are not boring. And you are definitely not the problem. Here is the reality of what is happening inside that beautiful, complicated head of yours. Your psychology is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. First off, we need to talk about the hardware you're working with. Your brain effectively has zero chill, and scientifically speaking, that is actually genius. Most people's brains come installed with a factory-setting spam filter. They walk into a crowded room, and their brain automatically deletes about 90% of the input. They don't hear the hum of the refrigerator. They don't notice the flickering light bulb in the corner. They don't register the weird smell coming from the carpet. They just see party. Your brain, however, is screenshotting literally everything. It is recording, analyzing, cross-referencing, and cataloging every single data point. Scientists call this sensory processing sensitivity. It's a fancy term that basically means your brain is that friend who notices everything, remembers everything, and holds onto it forever. When you walk into a crowd, you aren't just seeing people. You are processing the guy shifting his weight uncomfortably near the door, the micro-expression of annoyance on the bartender's face, the tonal shift in the song playing in the background, and the fact that the air conditioning is rattling in the key of B flat. You are doing all of this simultaneously. It's like everyone else is watching life on an old tube TV in 480p resolution, and you are stuck in an 8K IMAX experience with surround sound that you never bought a ticket for. Research shows that about 20% of the population has this heightened sensitivity. That means 1 in 5 people is walking around with a nervous system permanently set to perceive everything or die trying. And here is where it gets even more intense. Your brain doesn't just let this info pass through like a breeze through a screen door. No, it catches it. It stores it. It categorizes it. That random awkward interaction from 3 weeks ago that nobody else remembers, your brain filed that under possibly relevant for future survival and keeps pulling it up for peer review at 3 a.m. It's not overthinking. It's your neural network doing exactly what it was designed to do. Make sense of complex patterns that other people miss entirely. Now, you might be thinking, Michael, this sounds exhausting. And you're right. But here is the wild part. This trait is what kept humans alive for thousands of years. Think about it. Back in the caveman days, while the extroverts were loud, vibing around the campfire, and having a great time, your ancestors, the sensitive ones, were the ones sitting at the edge of the circle, listening. They were the ones who heard the twigs snap in the darkness. They noticed the predator approaching. They sensed the weather changing. You are not too much. You are the designated survivor. You are exactly what the species needed to not get eaten. The problem is, modern society wasn't designed for people who actually pay attention. It was designed for people who can ignore the fire alarm. Moving on to point number 2, you are not antisocial, you are just anti-BS. Let's get one thing straight, because this is a huge stigma. You don't hate people. You probably love people deeply. What you hate is the performance. In a crowded environment, almost everyone is wearing a mask. There is the "I'm having the time of my life" mask, the "I'm totally listening to you" mask, and the classic "I'm fine, everything is fine" mask. Even though their eye is literally twitching from stress. And you have X-ray vision for this stuff. You can see through every single one of them. It is exhausting, not because you are judgmental, but because your brain is constantly translating the real conversation happening beneath the words. You're reading the body language, the energy, the truth that nobody is saying out loud. Psychologists call this high perceptual sensitivity. Your emotional radar is so finely tuned that you are basically a human lie detector who didn't ask for the job and isn't getting paid for the overtime. There was actually a study from Cambridge University that found people who prefer solitude often score significantly higher in emotional intelligence than their crowd-loving counterparts. Let me translate that for you. You are not socially inept. You are socially sophisticated. You just refuse to play pretend. You would rather have one honest, real, slightly messy conversation at 3 a.m. in a quiet kitchen than attend 50 networking events where everyone is just reciting their highlight reel. And honestly, that is not a flaw. That is integrity. The problem isn't that you can't do small talk. You can do it. You can talk about the weather or sports or traffic. It's just that your brain experiences small talk like chewing on cardboard, while everyone else acts like it's a 5-star meal at a Michelin star restaurant. Your nervous system craves substance. It craves depth. When you are forced to engage in surface-level exchanges for hours, it's like asking a philosopher to get really excited about a blank sheet of paper. You're capable of looking at it, sure, but at what cost to your soul? Now, let's talk chemistry, because point number 3 is where your brain gets really interesting. Your dopamine system, the reward center of the brain, basically said, "Nah, I'm good." We all know dopamine is the feel-good chemical. For extroverts, when they walk into a loud party, their brain throws a ticker tape parade, fireworks, confetti, dopamine everywhere. They feed off the external stimulation. But for you, your brain hears crickets. Actually, it's not just crickets. It's an error message. That's because your system doesn't run primarily on dopamine in social settings. You run on a completely different neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. This is the chemical that rewards introspection, deep focus, and wait for it being alone. It is a calmness chemical. It's the chill out and think chemical. It's not that social situations don't reward you at all. It's that your brain literally gets its high from different sources. Reading a book at midnight? Acetylcholine party. Taking a solo walk where nobody asks you, "What do you do for work?" Acetylcholine festival. Sitting in a quiet room just thinking about the nature of the universe? That is your version of a rave. While extroverts need external stimulation to feel alive, you need internal space to access your full operating system. Neuroscientists have actually discovered that introverted brains tend to have thicker gray matter in the prefrontal cortex. That is the part of the brain responsible for complex thinking, planning, and decision-making. So, when you are sitting there doing nothing, your brain is actually doing everything. It is processing, connecting, and creating. You aren't wasting time. You are composing symphonies in your head while everyone else is listening to elevator music. That is not weird. That is evolutionary brilliance. This leads us perfectly into point number 4. You are basically an emotional Wi-Fi router. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately known something was wrong, even though everyone was smiling and acting normal? That is because your brain has what psychologists call mirror neurons on steroids. You don't just observe emotions, you download them. You upload them to your own hard drive. Spend an hour in a chaotic crowd, and you aren't just managing your own feelings. You are accidentally absorbing everyone else's emotional stress, anxiety, excitement, and chaos like some kind of emotional sponge that nobody squeezed out. It is psychological overload. Your nervous system is trying to process the emotional data of 300 strangers, while also remembering to breathe and hold a drink. No wonder you need 3 to 5 business days to recover from a 2-hour event. You're dealing with a data breach of feelings. But here is the superpower part. This makes you one of the most emotionally intelligent people in any room. You understand subtext. You read between the lines. You sense what people need before they even say it. Most people barely understand their own emotions, let alone anyone else's. You are out here understanding everyone's emotions. That isn't a curse, my friends. That is a gift that most people would crumble under. And finally, point number 5. And this is the most important one. You aren't running from life. You are running toward yourself. We live in a society that has this weird, obsessive equation where busy plus loud equals successful and happy. If you aren't at every event, if you aren't posting every moment on Instagram, if you aren't surrounding yourself with people 247, the world tries to tell you that you are somehow failing at life. You're missing out. You're a hermit. But here is what they don't understand, and what you have figured out that most people spend decades avoiding. Silence isn't empty. It's where clarity lives. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's where you actually meet yourself. You aren't missing out on anything. You are opting out of a system that was never built for people who think deeply, feel deeply, and see deeply. You understand something profound that the noise drowns out. The quietest rooms often hold the loudest truths. Your peace isn't isolation. It is liberation. It is the freedom to be who you are without the performance. So, the next time someone asks you, with that confusing look on their face, why don't you go out more? Or, why are you so quiet? Just remember this. They are asking why you don't drain yourself to fit into spaces that were never designed for minds like yours. You are not broken. You are not boring. You are not antisocial. You are just built for depth in a world that is obsessed with noise. And honestly, that is exactly what makes you fascinating. So, tell me in the comments, I really want to know, are you team crowds give me life? Or are you team I'd rather befriend a cactus? Drop it below. Let's find our people. And hey, if this resonated with you, do yourself a favor and hit subscribe. We have another video coming up that dives into another introvert trait that most people misunderstand. And trust me, it is going to feel uncomfortably accurate. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.